Hello, I'm Wanderer001, and chances are this is a video unlike anything you've ever seen from me personally, because, well, if you're a regular subscriber of mine, I don't show my face on camera at all. I prefer to just show a product and utilize my hands and my notes to do in-depth product reviews. However, today, apparently, I get to be part of a trending topic that is currently happening here on YouTube, and that is invalid traffic. So if you found this because you're looking for invalid traffic, I'm throwing my hat out there as yet another content creator who is experiencing this kind of issue, which is also why I thought the severity of this necessitated me actually showing my face to the camera and my viewers for the first time in the 10-year history that I've been on YouTube. As many other creators have suggested, this invalid traffic issue, and I will call it an issue because, well, YouTube claims it's not a bug. We, the creators, think it is a bug because clearly there's something that's not happening correctly, but the two parties cannot come to an understanding as to what the issue is. So, like many other creators, I saw a severe drop-off in my analytics, and that was my first clue that there was actually a problem. On August 12th, I noticed a 66% drop in my revenue, and then 3 days later, I got the dreaded invalid traffic source in my user dashboard. Granted, my revenue has not dropped as severely as many of the other creators. However, I'm in a very small particular niche. I don't get a lot of views, and chances are these other creators were probably making a lot more than me. But still, a 66% drop in revenue is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you're a solo creator such as myself, part-time, as a hobby, pretty much. So with this issue, any thoughts I might have had about doing this full-time kind of put in question. Like many other creators, I did reach out to YouTube support, and they were just as helpful as you might have imagined for several of the other creators. You go there after going through the rabbit hole yourself of already looking up all of the information that you could find about this topic so that you could go in there guns blazing and ready to say, hey, this is what I found. Can you help me determine what's going on? Instead, you get pretty much, I'm sorry you feel that way. Here's the information. Make sure you're not watching your own ads. Make sure you're not telling your users to click on the ads. Make sure you're not telling your friends and family to view your playlists to get more views. Well, in my case, I don't actually tell my family or friends or coworkers that I have YouTube. I've told one or two people recently, but this was well after the invalid traffic problems started. So I know it wasn't that. I don't pay for bots because, one, I don't make a lot on this channel as it is, even though you might see my subscriber count and think otherwise. Again, I am in a very, very small niche of tech reviewers in that the people who watch my reviews are in it for long-form content. And by long-form, I mean I can average 30 minutes for a video. So I know that's not going to be for everybody. The one bit of information that I was able to extract from my lovely YouTube interaction was that there were 2 incidences that got my account flagged for invalid traffic. So supposedly I had 2 incidences on 2 separate occasions. At first, I thought it was a review that I happened to do for a vendor. They reached out to me, said, hey, would you do this review for us? I said, sure. And I thought maybe they embedded or placed my video on their site. Well, based on the views I got for that, not so much. My other running guess at this moment is several days before I noticed the drop in my revenue, I posted a YouTube short. And that YouTube short got well above my average views for a single video in a single day. And just to let you know how niche and small I am, that YouTube short got 6,000 views in one day. Some of you might laugh at that and say that's a bad video. But for me, those are crazy views for one day. So my thought was perhaps this acceleration of views in one day and then YouTube Shorts drops off pretty much the day after was the first impetus for YouTube to go, hey, you've got invalid traffic. What are you doing there? My next thought was it could be one of my videos that is doing extraordinarily well because it's a very simple, short how-to video for how to pair your Roku remote to your Roku. I thought perhaps this is what's causing the issue because the views for that have been fairly regular, but also fairly high compared to the rest of my channel. So on 2 occasions, I privated this video for the course of 7 days. Nothing changed. Invalid traffic still on my channel. So what did I do next? I turned the video back on because it really wasn't doing anything having it off, and I want to have the video out there to help people. So I start digging into my analytics, much like many other creators, to see what might be the issue. In my case, I wanted to see where the views were coming from. and I'm using my cheat sheet here, so I will let you know right now. My views were coming from YouTube search and external. What does external mean? Well, in my case, that was top being Google, second being Yahoo, and third, YouTube internal search. So the top three, two of which are Google-owned properties. Google is showing my video to people. And what I ended up doing was going in incognito mode, going into a web browser, going to google.com to do a search and saying how to pair a Roku remote with a Roku. The top three videos that you can click on right from that search page, one of them is mine. I used to be the only one on this page and at the top. Now I'm one of three, but it's still being delivered by Google on their page and counts as an embed. So I don't know where the invalid traffic is coming from if Google itself is serving the video to people. That's going to increase the amount of views on it, especially if Google is the #1 search engine and YouTube is #2. If these are the two primary ways that I'm getting views, obviously I can't do anything about that unless I turn the video off, because then YouTube can't serve it to anybody. Like you're probably watching a lot of these different videos. So I found one. They suggested, hey, turn off the ability for other people to use your videos as ads. I turned that off, and circumstantially, I saw my revenue increase a little bit. So what did that mean? Instead of 66%, I was down to 64%. But that doesn't matter, because as of the 17th, which is only a day ago from when I'm filming this, I got the invalid banner back on my YouTube dashboard. Originally, I dismissed it, so I could have been experiencing invalid traffic this entire time. I don't know. But as of 2 days ago, I got the invalid traffic banner back on my channel. So again, I go through my analytics to try and find where the problem might be. And there's a newer video out there demonstrating, hey, I went to my video, I looked to see where the traffic was coming from, what country. Maybe they're getting the idea that the influx of views is coming from a country that's known for botting. I go again into my entire channel, check it out. The specific video that I think is causing the problem, even though it's not because I turned it off and tried that already, but the majority of my views for that are coming from the US, which is where most of my views are coming from already. So that didn't tell me anything. For an extra piece of data, I actually have a second channel. That's my clips channel, where I cut down my extraordinarily long videos and put clips of them on this other channel. It was monetized probably 3 days before the initial instance of invalid traffic happening to my main channel. So I've been running some tests and looking back and forth to see if there's any difference in views, where things are coming from. And there really isn't. But the big thing, and the thing that hurts my channel, my main channel, the most is my RPM. My RPM on a channel that just got monetized only has like 1,010 subscribers versus my main channel, which has hundreds of thousands of views and 23,000, almost 24,000 subscribers at this point. The RPM, there's only a $1 difference. So a channel that just got monetized and does not have the view count that my main channel has, with the invalid traffic issue, there's only a $1 difference in earnings between the two. And that's ridiculous. One thing that many of us have already been looking at is, hey, maybe this is just affecting smaller YouTube channels, such as yourself, between just being monetized to maybe 30, 40,000. Recently, somebody who was looking into invalid traffic, I'll put them up in the corner so you can go check them out. They put a page together to track all the different channels being affected by this. And there's two that fall into my niche, and they're fairly large. Tech with Brit, which has 400,000 subscribers, and Lon TV, which has 300,000, both of which are tech tubers, people who review stuff. And I get that's another theory that's going around, is my niche. You come looking for a question to be answered. You watch my video and you leave, whether that's to go watch some other funny cat video or to go buy the product or to do more research on the product that I reviewed. We're not keeping people on YouTube, but there are other channels in there which are entertainment channels, which clearly keep people on YouTube who are also experiencing this issue. So again, what is the problem? If YouTube was more transparent in at least telling us what videos were being the cause of this, it would be extraordinarily helpful to us as creators. Because right now, all we get is, I can't tell you which videos it is. I can just tell you that there are videos. I can't tell you exactly when you got flagged, just when the notification showed up in your dashboard. None of this information is helpful at all to us as creators. And this is extraordinarily upsetting. In some cases, this is the equivalent of you going to your full-time job. You get $20 an hour. You leave that day and come back the next day, and your boss tells you, by the way, you make $8 an hour. Keep doing the same amount of work you're doing, but I'm going to pay you a heck of a lot less. In my case, I've been making videos for well over a decade, and I joined the YouTube Partner Program back when it was invite only and for a video that you can't find anymore. So for me, this has been just a slap in the face because I never thought that I would do anything that had me targeted by YouTube. So this is something that's completely out of my control, and no information is being provided except to self-help stuff that you can find on your own already. As you might imagine, as a creator, that is very upsetting. To see that myself and other creators, their livelihood, their second job even, it might not be what we're doing full time, but it is a job. It does require a lot of work to do what we do. You don't just sit in front of the camera and talk. I don't like doing this. I like notes and details and testing things thoroughly. This is not how I expected to jump on a trending topic on YouTube. I never wanted to be in front of the camera like this. Maybe as an incentive to get subscribers, 50,000, 100,000, I would have come on camera. But this is not what I like. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to have to be pleading my case to you and YouTube by putting this out there. That's not what I want to do. I started my channel to help people with tech and help them understand it, help them to figure out something that they're looking at is something that they want to buy. I started YouTube to help people. I don't want to stop doing that. Until the invalid traffic issue is resolved on my main channel, I'm going to have to make some changes. And those changes include maybe not putting out the frequency of videos that I have been, maybe changing the videos that I make. Making review videos can be expensive depending on what you're looking to review. And my agreement with my wife is, as long as I can fund my reviews with money that I make from YouTube, I can keep buying tech toys. If the money that I'm getting from YouTube has diminished, the quality of the tech toys might diminish. And I don't want to do that because I started off getting cheap things off of Amazon and Best Buy and have slowly worked my way up to more reputable companies, and I'd like to be able to stay there. So that might mean that I'm not going to be able to review things quite as often, or I might have to do how-to style videos and more comparison style videos to pad out my video offerings until this invalid traffic issue is resolved. And because of that, I'm going to have to be more tactical in my purchases going forward. So I might not be able to review something requested right away. I'm going to have to wait for a good sale for me to actually purchase something before new thing comes out. Wise Campaign version 3. Pick that up on day 1 to review. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to wait and see if there's a sale. And if there's not a sale, I'm not going to review it. I cannot justify paying full retail for something right now. For my regular viewers, I do have a backlog of stuff kind of scattered around my studio here, so you might not see these changes until 2024. Just know if the invalid traffic issue is not resolved by then, things on this channel might look a little different. And then there's my second channel. Do I start using that as my primary channel? I don't have as many subscribers over there. If you'd like to, feel free to go ahead and subscribe, but the subscriber and view count that I have on my main channel here is what has allowed me to work with some larger companies like Eufy and Tapo. If I start utilizing my second channel more, I don't know if I'm going to have the clout that I have on this channel. Because of that, I might have to consider doing sponsored content. I don't like doing sponsored content. Yes, I have received products for free to review, but the stipulation is they don't get to tell me how the review goes and no money exchanges hands. It is purely, here's a product to review and I go and do it. And I put it out there, good, bad, and indifferent. Sponsored is more like an ad, and I really don't want to have to do that. Or the other option is product placement in the middle of a review. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm looking at options, and my thing is, I understand that, believe it or not, 90% of my viewers are not my subscribers. They're people who are looking for a question to be answered, and when that question is answered, they move on. So for me, Patreon, memberships on YouTube, they don't make a lot of sense. I do have tipping enabled on my channel and a link in the description that brings you to a place that you can tip for a one-off, but it's not a viable revenue stream. But I will post some options in a poll on my community tab for my subscribers to let me know what their thoughts are. Because again, as I try and make my way through this very uncomfortable and annoying situation, I want to be there for you, my viewer. I don't want to disrupt what you've come to expect or come here to learn, but YouTube is not making that easy. As I mentioned, I do have a second channel. I'll have it linked somewhere here. And it's monetized now. If there are particular spots of my long form content that you like, mainly setup and the app walkthroughs, please feel free to watch them on that other channel. So maybe it'll help me keep doing this a little longer into the future. At this time, because YouTube is up in the air as to if it will be a viable platform for me, I have started cross-posting my content to other platforms. I won't mention them here. I don't need YouTube getting any more angry at me than they would be for making something like this, but bio link in the description will show you all the places that I will be cross-posting, as well as the other places that you can find me. So, in closing, coming on camera was not an easy decision for me. YouTube, you need to do better. You need to be there and be more transparent for your creators. And I understand, my channel is a small drop in the bucket in the grand scheme that is YouTube. But I remind myself, just like when I make my video and it only gets a handful of views, there's that one person out there who really wanted to see that content, and I'm happy that I was able to help them. There's going to be small channels with very niche audiences that, if you're not careful, might take those audiences somewhere else. So YouTube, figure out what's going on, because there's a lot of other creators out there having the same problem I am. And generic responses from support are not helpful at all.